3 3-minute rounds of amateur MMA at a catch weight of 82 kilograms. Introducing first of all your fighter in the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 6 feet tall, weighing at 82 kilograms, 181 pounds. Brings with an even record, 3 wins, 3 defeats. Fighting out of Cross Combat, Roddy Campbell. His opponent across the cage in the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighing at 82 kilograms, 181 pounds. With a record, 2 wins, 1 defeat, 1 no contest, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Wasabama Gym and representing West Coast MMA, David Slattery.
On top 10 Frontline of the Onyx in Linwood, David Slattery in the red and white shorts, Roddy Campbell in the red trunks.
This should be a really interesting fight. Roddy Campbell was a super athlete and really strong grappler. Solid takedowns, as you can just about to see, I think, here. For the looks things, he's driving forward, but
decent sprawl there by Slattery.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. But he's in the single there. Seems to be elevating him. Slattery, obviously, really tall guy.
Yeah, fantastic work there by Roddy Campbell.
It's difficult sometimes when you're dealing with that frame because it's hard to get somebody, that kind of shape, to train with. But Roddy's really super aggressive and to me a much better fighter than his record was suggested. Mainly because he'll fight pretty much anybody.
And at this level, why not? I mean, an amateur fighter, why not?
Exactly. That way, when he does make the jump to pro, he's already been in there with a bunch of tough guys, but he's controlling the position here, knee on belly, landing some nice strikes, looking pretty dominant. It's a bad spot as well if you're working off your back and you've got your head up against the cage there.
Slattery's fighting tooth and nail there to try and get out of that position, but
solid half guard position here.
Slattery firing out of the Wasabama Gym in Ayr. Roddy Campbell representing Cross Combat Gym in Edinburgh. His record's 3-3. David Slattery 2-1 in 1 draw.
Generally, sort of Wasabama guys tend to be good strikers, and you would certainly think with his frame that would be a bit of an advantage to him keeping the fight standing. But it's difficult to do when you've got a guy coming at you like the way that Roddy's coming at him.
Slattery defeated Dan Morgan by TKO on top Valorous. He's got fond memories of this venue. But he finds himself in a difficult position here in the first round of this 82-kilogram catchweight unified amateur rules bout.
The whole thing there is he's got him sort of trapped up against the cage, and he's not got much room to work and move his hips here when his back's kind of trapped against the cage. But he's doing a good job of getting back to his feet there. Roddy, wow, what a takedown there!
That was awesome. I mean, he wasn't up for very long, Slattery, was he? And this is going to frustrate him no end. He's being really outmuscled by Roddy Campbell here.
He's working for an armbar here, and he's got it locked up, so it's very close to being finished if he can set that up. He's throwing the arm. He's managed to free up his arm luckily there, because that could have been pretty bad, in all honesty.
But he is leaving it hanging out there though.
He's going to chip away at him now. A strange position there, sort of donkey guard position they call that.
So what does Campbell do here to get out of this donkey guard then? He's just got to wait for his moment, I suppose.
Yeah, ideally he's kind of got to sit back with keep the weight. He doesn't want to get turned. I mean, if he puts a bit more pressure on Slattery's upper body, he should be able to free himself up here. Ideally he could walk him right round to his back as well, but I mean, even here he's pretty safe, that he's not in any danger and he can strike,
Round one's in the books, and you'd have to give that one quite comfortably to Roddy Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, 3 big takedowns I think in total there, and done some damage with his strikes. But certainly Slattery looked reasonably offensive off his back, and still pretty composed.
You talk about Roddy Campbell's record 3-3, and he probably deserves a better record than that. But
yeah,
one of his losses is to Mike Copperthwaite, and that's
exactly.
He's no slouch. He fights really good guys.
That's what I mean. Really good level guys here. So he's in a position where his record's definitely deceiving. He's at a better level than what that would suggest. And you can even see over his wins, he's got wins over good guys as well. So.
Carson Richards, Matt Mullen amongst them. He beat Matt Mullen at OnTop, Nemesis and Paisley. That was OnTop's first show back in quite a number of years, and they've gone from strength to strength since that day.
Carson Rich as well, again a solid grappler for Aberdeen, and he's got a win over him, so it should be an interesting fight.
Round 2 about to get underway. David Slattery in the red and white shorts, Roddy Campbell in the faded red trunks. Good first round by Campbell. Let's see if Slattery can make his presence felt in round 2.
You find this a lot with a lot of sort of ex-rugby players. They tend to be, adapt really well to MMA. They tend to come in and they very quickly they get quite a good sort of top game, aggressive top game style, with takedowns and wrestling.
I've heard Paul McVeigh say similar things before about rugby players, and what is it about it? Do you think it's just the physical nature of the game of rugby is that you're not scared to get in amongst it, really?
Absolutely. They're generally pretty tough people anyway, guys that are rugby athletes, that especially sort of good level guys nowadays, they tend to be real athletes as well, so they're used to that aspect. And obviously, the part of what they're doing is taking people down, so all they need to do is learn the technical parts about controlling a human, and then they can, strike from there. Striking on the ground is not that technical. It's punch the guy, get a good position, posture, and punch the guy pretty much as hard as you can.
Great work by Campbell, and he's finding himself in much the similar position that he spent the entirety of round 1.
Absolutely, he's landing heavy strikes. I mean, these aren't little strikes here, they're very heavy. This fight's very close to getting stopped if he can continue with that, but a really, really nice sweep with Slattery. And then again, Campbell just...
He's relentless, isn't he?
Yeah, relentless, just powering him back to the cage and keeping that top position. I mean, Rab Tuesdale, another good example of a guy that sort of came for rugby and adapted really quickly. MMA, was fighting, professional MMA within 2 fights, and you see it with a lot of these guys, Just sheer, that's again right on him, giving him no space here.
It must be really frustrating for Slattery.
He's doing a great job as well. He's not just shooting in for the takedown, which is what the mistake a lot of guys make. He's thrown a couple of strikes at his head, forcing him to defend those strikes. If he doesn't defend them, he's going to get hurt. And then he's under him with a takedown, and already he scored, again a few. I don't know if that was looked maybe like an elbow there from the bottom, but
yeah, good strikes again from Campbell. Left and a right, both landed. Try to push the legs to the side to get closer to his opponent.
I mean, Slattery's still fighting. He's trying to work for there. He's trying to attack for stuff. He's trying to get back to his feet. But again, Roddy's just been relentless here and controlling that position. There's a really nice spot he can get to here for straight in mount almost, but he ended up with the side control.
And yeah, he's working for it. Now he's got it. He's got the mount, and this could be serious trouble for David Slattery.
Again, he's got a bit of time to work here as well. So this is not a good spot right now for Slattery. Especially with a big sort of athletic guy like that on top of you, He's hooked in.
2 hooks in.
Solid position here.
He just does not have the time.
He might not have the time to get under the chin, but he is actually under the chin here. Done a good job of defending, to be fair there for Slattery.
Strong finish the round. You were talking there about rugby players, and another guy who started out in rugby, Callum Hunter, of course, was a very promising young rugby player before he took a path towards MMA. And he was meant to be fighting tonight, and his opponent, Ashley Gibson, pulled out. And the reason he gave was that he doesn't believe that MMA is a sport for him, despite having fought in MMA before. So promoters beware. It's the kind of thing that a promoter cannot really be doing on the day of an event.
It's a really poor show. That I put up a post on Facebook about it recently, and I just got sick of seeing guy after guy after guy pull out. Again, my brother's opponent tonight, it's only a result of another guy pulling out on him, and again another silly reason was given for it, and it's just like, I don't get why people put themselves in for a fight and then don't turn up. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not something I agree with in the slightest. I mean, there are exceptions. Some people get injured, but it happens far too much.
Yeah, I think the giveaway is when you hear that a fighter has pulled out and there's no reason given by the promoter. That should be enough to tell you that the reason was not strong enough to be even worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Someone's injured, they're injured. Fair enough, but you can do without that in MMA, especially when guys put in the kind of work that we know Callum Hunter's put in to come through this horrific 2-year run of it. I beg your pardon, 3-year layoff that he's had. Awful injuries. But back to this fight. David Slattery in the red and white trunks, Roddy Campbell in the red trunks.
Slattery's in a spot here where he needs to go big. He needs to go for the knockout or the submission win here, because he needs to finish. Roddy's definitely two rounds up here, clearly.
And you imagine that if he's going to get a finish, Slattery, it more likely be by knockout, because on the ground he's being utterly dominated.
Absolutely. He's not managed to offer anything off his back yet that looked threatening, so He needs to get his striking going, maybe use his reach as an advantage and start to look to set up something big, you know. Especially when they're sweaty like this late in the rounds, you know, it's going to be really difficult to catch a submission on Roddy. Some nice movement here as well, you know, and that it keeps him out of that sort of striking range until he's ready to explode. All he needs to do is sort of set up that takedown, but he's doing a good job of staying on the outside and sort of confusing his opponent here. Again, really nice into the single again there. Keeps that top position, solid. Stays on him, gives him no space, and
yeah, it must be pretty disheartening for Slattery. Anytime he thinks he's created enough space to maybe get out of danger, Campbell is immediately back on top of him, and it's great. It's a great tactic really from Campbell, just relentless attack.
Yeah, and I mean he's trying for the finish. It's not like he's taking him down and lying on him. He's posturing. He's landing heavy strikes. You know, Slattery's doing a good job of managing to defend himself to the point where he's not getting stopped. But you know, he's losing whilst this is happening as well. You know. That kind of looked like an elbow to me, but I don't know.
It certainly did.
And it didn't seem to faze Roddy too much, so he's now past side control. Pretty solid. He's still got his knee. Well, he had his knee in there.
True side control now. Let's see what he can do from here. He's got plenty of time to work.
Yeah, if there was elbows involved, it would be a really bad spot to be in now. Wow.
Well, that's the first time we've seen Slattery really do anything positive from the bottom.
Again,
that was great to see.
Dealing with that kind of frame, you know, it's people can do things when you're sort of a lot longer than you'd normally be used to dealing with. So, but again,
is Campbell doing the right thing here by not allowing him to get it to the ground?
He's trying to shake him off, and he's doing a good job.
Excellent. Yeah, really good work. Slattery's bleeding quite heavily, I think, from his ear, actually.
Yeah, it looks like some of those strikes have started to take their toll. He's bleeding, you know, it does look like from the ear. Fair bit of blood there as well. But Roddy keeping the pressure on him, and you've got to imagine there's not too much longer in this fight to go.
10 seconds.
Yeah. So I mean, all Roddy really needs to do here is he can, you know, maybe get the takedown to finish strong, but he landed a nice uppercut there. That's the fight over.
Yeah, Slattery just kind of threw a little combination at the end there, and maybe wish we'd seen a bit more of that throughout the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit late in the day. We will go to the judges. Stuart Allen will give us our decision shortly, but I think that
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear your appreciation once again for both fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. All 3 judges agree for a winner by unanimous decision. In the blue corner, Roddy Campbell!